Okay, so let's talk through setting up an instrument in Ableton Live. So I'm going to set up this instrument one because I don't think I've set it up yet on this computer. Actually, I know I haven't. So um, all of this is going to happen in the preferences window. So we need to go to preferences, and then we're going to go to this link tempo MIDI tab. Okay, so this down here is really what we're concerned about when it comes to MIDI controllers. This up here is really what we're looking at here is control surfaces. A control surface is something that basically is going to be able to run most elements of the program. It is a MIDI controller, but kind of a more robust MIDI controller. Something like the push 2. That means that the push 2 is a controller that is designed to that is kind of built into Live. So Live knows what it is, and when you plug it in, all kinds of mapping happens to it automatically. There are others that you can get that are control surfaces. So I do have a push 2 plugged into this computer. So it comes up here, it just automatically sees it. Then it says my input, and it doesn't need an output because I'm not sending anything from Live back to the push 2. So what I'm mostly concerned with is our MIDI ports down here. So this is telling me anything that's plugged into my computer that Live sees. And it should see everything that's plugged into your computer. If it doesn't, if you plug in a keyboard and it doesn't know what it is, then you might need to download some software for that individual thing. It's unlikely that you would need to do that, but you might if it's something really weird. If you're using just a MIDI input, you'll see it come up here as USB MIDI interface. That's the thing you're looking for. So I have currently plugged in as my main keyboard, this one called a Seaboard Rise 49. Okay, so it sees it here. Now you'll always see it show up twice in this list, as in and then again as out. Okay, so Seaboard Rise in is my keyboard. I can open it up here and I can see some other settings. There's really hardly any need to ever go into these settings, so I wouldn't worry about those at all. For output on this keyboard, I have nothing turned on because I don't have any need to send anything back to that keyboard. There's just no need for it. So I didn't turn any of those on. Okay, so let's plug in my instrument one. Now this, first of all, I have power plugged into this only because I haven't used it in a while and the battery is dead. So we've got power plugged in. Now I'm going to plug in USB, and I do believe this has wireless and will work over Bluetooth if I want, but that's a bit more complicated. So let's just keep it simple. So as soon as I plug it in, it should show up in that list. So here we go. And there it is. Like no editing there. It showed up that fast. So input, instrument one, track. Okay, so track means I'm going to be able to input notes. So sync means that it has some kind of timing mechanism in it, and we're going to be able to manipulate the tempo and some other things like that. This doesn't have anything like that in it, so I'm going to leave sync off. And remote means that it's going to be able to control things like the transport bar, play, pause, stop. It is not able to do that, so I'm going to leave that off. Even if it was able to do it, I might consider leaving that off, just because maybe you don't want to turn that on. That's totally okay. Okay, so this showed up automatically. Track is on. Now if I go down to my output, I don't need anything. There's no reason to send MIDI back to this device, so I'm going to leave output off. That should be all I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to close this window. Now I'm going to go to Live. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at our little magic MIDI square up in this corner. Okay, so I'm going to play some notes and see if that lights up. There it is. Okay, I don't hear anything, don't need to. All that little square is telling me is that yes, Live is getting MIDI information from this device. Great. So now if I go to my any MIDI track and I arm it to record, I should hear MIDI through it. Pretty gnarly. Let me change my settings here. This has different settings for different instruments. Okay, now I'm on a guitar setting. There we go, much better. Cool. So now I can play any instrument in live with my Instrument 1 controller. Let's just for fun, I'm going to load up a plugin that's got a nice piano sound on it. I'm going to use Contact. No, this is a plugin, so it's external, and Contact is a plugin that is going to house a lot of different instrument libraries. So these are instrument libraries that I've purchased that are higher end libraries. So I have these nice pianos that I've bought. Okay, so let's hear one. What can I play? So it's a little tricky, this thing. It doesn't behave perfectly like a guitar, but it's kind of fun, and I kind of like the glitchiness of it. Gives you some fun, maybe unexpected results that can make some cool things. So there you go. That's really all it took to set up a new MIDI device. It really just kind of popped up, and then I just need to assign it to a track, and now I can record with it. So if I wanted to record, I'm on this track now, this second track. Let's open it up, press record. We're armed to record, so here we go. And there we are. Recorded a bunch of MIDI.